I'm really excited that Derek, the creator of the Gematria.com website, has taken the Jaleayah Davis case and expanded it, gave us a lot more decodes and information. I'm literally just going to read this because some people will watch the YouTube channel rather than go to this. But if you want to go back and review it, all you have to do is open up Gematrianator.com, go to blogs, and then go to March 1st, the day that he made this decode. So, to begin here, he says, that the death was November 19th, but technically she died on the 20th, but it was reported on the 19th. And as we've said several times, Jaleayah Davis equals 233 in reverse ordinal. And it's not a whole lot unlike 322, by the way. So that in itself seems a little suspicious to me, especially since close on the guardrail equals 322. Well, see, the total solar eclipse was on the 233rd day of the year. Now, to me, that says a lot, okay? So if the eclipse, now it's not the same day as the murder, okay? I understand that. The day of the year was the 233rd day of the year, August 21st of the eclipse. And Jaleayah Davis equals 233. To me, that designates planning. I don't think these kind of things just happen coincidentally. I mean, how can it? I literally have 11 pages now of quote-unquote coincidences, minus the 2 pages on the Ben Bay Grotto that may have something to do or may not have something to do with it, but certainly looks very suspicious. And just the sheer number of quote-unquote coincidences is hard for me to wrap my head around, But let's just go on down a little bit. Jaleayah Rose Davis, her full name, 67. Total solar eclipse, human sacrifice, blood sacrifice, all 67. And 2 of them are 104. She died exactly 2,101 days before that eclipse. So from the death to the eclipse right here, 2,101 days. And she was born on November 2nd, which is a lot like 2,101, 211, died on 2011, ritual human sacrifice equals 211, and killing in the primes cipher, one we don't use very often, killing equals 211. 211 is the 47th prime number. Killing equals 47 in full reduction. Total eclipse equals 47. And she was from Marietta, Ohio, which also equals 47. Ohio equals 47. And then a few of these other ciphers that aren't used quite as often. Jaleayah Davis, 170. Williamstown, where the murder happened, sacrifice, all equal 170. Williamstown shares a 73 with Marietta. Williamstown and Marietta, Ohio, both 73. Sacrifice and ritual sacrifice, also 73. Sacrifice can also be 62. The date she died, the numerology, when set aside in paragraphs like this, 11-20-2011, added together also equals 62. Marietta, Ohio equals 62. I mean, look how many we've gone through. This is crazy. If this is just a chance, I mean, how's that possible? Williamstown, Ohio, just like you put Marietta, Ohio, 62, and even Williamstown by itself is 62. So her clothes were found by the guardrail. Guardrail by itself is 46 and 62. Sacrifice, 46 and 62. Even in Hebrew, we have a 46 for sacrifice, or let's see, for kill. Marietta, Ohio can be 190, like Davis is 19, the chaos number, 19. Jaleayah Davis equals 46, like all the other 46s we just did. The 46th prime number is 199, using that prime cipher. Okay. Jaleayah died on Interstate 77, and her full name in the satanic cipher, her name equals 770. It's said that her body was found on mile marker 181, which we've gone over many times, which is the 42nd prime number, and guardrail equals 402. Clothes folded on the guardrail equals 322. Remember that? Got saying so. Skull and bones insignia. I mean, that doesn't, you don't end up dying in a horrible crash and your clothes just get put nice and neat on a guardrail. I mean, the poor girl was decapitated, for heaven's sakes. I mean, her clothes didn't just happen to go over there and get neatly put on the guardrail. I mean, that's a sign, folks. Wake up, They say they don't understand why the police are covering up. Well, look at all this. Look at this evidence, and maybe you'll start to sink in. Did you not realize that 3 of the kids were related to policemen? The policemen are all parts of, are almost always part of the Fraternal Order of Police, which is a Masonic organization, that's responsible for a whole lot of these sacrificial deaths around the country. November 20th, when Jaleayah died, has Gematria 218, November 20th. Also, in the English Ordinal is 218. Death equals 218. On that date, Jaleayah was 20 years, 18 days old. Just a fact to keep in mind. And I think we hit some of these ones before. Jaleayah Davis, 118. Death is 118 in Jewish cipher. Homicide, 118 in the Jewish cipher. Jaleayah Davis is 1840 in the Jewish cipher. Kill is 184 in the Satanic cipher. Jaleayah Rose Davis, 347, and sacrifice in the Hebrew cipher is 347. Let's see. Then he goes on to match with some more eclipses. The name Davis sums to 804. In Jewish Gematria, Davis equals 804. Total lunar eclipse equals 804. I mean, we've already showed I was synced up with another eclipse, How can it, what was it? Was it, what we'd say, was that, which eclipse was that? I already forgot, So, but how's it possible to be synced up with eclipses several different ways, Solar, lunar. It's just too much. This is too much for me to just pass up and say that this is coincidence. I personally can't believe it. A News and Sentinel article that's on 314 like pi, a Marietta article on a date numerology 227, pi again, 22 divided by 7 is pi. Also, they said they left, the car was running when they got there. Well, car running equals 56 in full reduction, and one of the people involved, one of the people of the party named Freddie Scott, is 56 also in full reduction. Freddie Scott is 196 in reverse ordinal and 70 in reverse full reduction, just like Kristen Bechtold is 169 in English ordinal and 70 in full reduction. I mean, just more and more keeps presenting itself to make this case seem like there's no possible way that it could be, it's almost synced up with the New World Order speech. George Bush's New World Order speech from 1991, 10 years later. She was born just a couple months after that, I think. Let's see, it had been 10 years before, right? So 10 years after was the New World Order speech. Wait, hold on. This 2011. See, 2001 was, right after the New World Order speech, she was born. 10 years later was 9/11. 10 years later was this. I mean, it's just a month or so apart. And she died on, a 9/11 date, 11/9 in reverse. I just don't see how this just happens. Now, Ember S. Stafford being 61 and pi again in 83. I mean, we've seen pi 3 different ways. We've seen her name multiplied as 1008, the same as the Aladefa Lisa, who died who was the first one shot at Parkland, the Parkland shooting. These things don't just happen. The Berlin Wall came down in 11/9, and she died in 11/9. Columbine started at 11/19. Do you see how prevalent this number is? 11/19. Columbine shooting started 11:19 a.m. Jaleayah Davis's name, like I said, is multiplied out in the septenary cipher to 1080. And that number is really important because that 108, like we said, there's 108 moon distances from the Earth to the moon, 108 sun distances from the sun to the Earth. It's an angle in the pentagram, and so it's very important to them. Even a spaceship on August 19, 1965, a rocket, Gemini the 5th, was halted at 108, not by mistake, okay, on launch pad 19. They did that as a ritual, okay? Why else would they put that number in there and make it so prominent in the articles? You know, the Las Vegas police were notified of the shooting at 10:08. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. Well, we've already mentioned a lot of these, so there's no sense in going over every single one again. You can just go back and watch the other 3 videos. But, well, anyway, so thanks again to Derek, creator of Gematria, or Gematrinator, however you want to say it. It's a big help, and hopefully some people will start to take interest in this and will understand that something fishy is going on here. I mean, somebody said once, well, we know she was with her friends. Well, the last I heard is she was left alone in a car. And the last time she was heard on a phone call, the girl that she was trying to get away from and didn't like very much, who is also summed as the probable killer in the Gematria, the Bechtold lady, you know, is, you know, in my opinion, I should say. Well, you know, that was the last 2 that were known to be anywhere near each other, as far as I can tell from the mile marker 181 post, unless I'm misunderstanding it. So, excuse me. Well, so coughing made me lose my voice. So, thank you for listening, and please like, share, and subscribe.